new day, new game, new rules. They said the dollar's dying, we gotta choose. Global economy's changing, we can feel the shift. Time to rethink the dollar, let's make it swift. Money makes the world go round, but it's losing clout. Inflation's rising, can't live without doubt. It's time for a change, gotta be wise. Think about our future, open up our eyes. No more dollar dominance, we're taking flight. The world is rethinking the dollar tonight. New beginnings, new currency in sight. Don't be left behind, it's time to get it right. Listen up, it's time to rethink the game. The dollar's losing steam, it's never gonna be the same. The world's watching closely, the signs are all there. As the dollar gets weaker, we gotta prepare. No more reserve currency status, it's gotta go. The world's searching for alternatives, don't you know? Bitcoin's rising, gold is shining bright. It's time to wake up, see the dollar's not right. Rethink the dollar, let's make a change. It's time to break free from this old outdated range. The world is moving, currencies are shifting. Let's educate ourselves, start a new tradition.
All right. We are live for Thursday edition of the People's Talk Show. And as always, excited to be back, excited to connect and find out what's on your radar. And as always, never a dull moment in this world of chaos and war, debt, death, destruction, you name it. Same old, same old. But then again, the U.S. is back at it again. More military conflicts in the Middle East is going to ramp things up. And definitely that's right in their in their plans of things to do for 2024. So hope all is well. Hope everyone is doing well. Want to definitely make sure everything is flowing smoothly. Let me make sure the audio is working correctly so that I can make sure I'm not just talking to myself. So if you don't mind, hit me a thumbs up in the chat. And we'll definitely love to find out who is checking in with me. Feel free to throw me some thoughts, ideas, suggestions as always. And I have maybe 4, 5, 6 different subject matters worth talking about, but it's nothing new really. Just more questions and concerns about what's going on in the world. And more importantly, want to connect in and see what's going on, man. It's been a minute due to scheduling on my end. It's been kind of hectic, but I do the best I can when I can. So hope everyone's doing well. As always, let me make sure for those who are watching, whether you're first time or returning visitor or whatever, hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Hopefully more people are notified and we can, of course, just try to educate and encourage one another as we go through these interesting events that are unfolding. So let me just keep it moving right along. Oh man. So what's been going on, man? So lots of things have been going on. Curious to find out what you guys been keeping your eyes on. And, it's the 11th day of the month of January. And each day has brought with it all types of interesting, some exciting, some not, but it also all depends on your framework and, your perception of what we call reality. Everybody has a different filter on their lens to be able to decipher what they consider good or bad. So I'm curious to find out what you guys are keeping your eyes on. So feel free to let me know what you're thinking. Open up the phone lines and definitely love to get some calls in tonight. We'll see where the conversation takes us. I have all these stories I want to share. And then if the phone lines are open, love to talk to you. If not, then we'll just call it short. And all right, let's keep it moving, man. So let me see. We got right now airstrikes taking place right now in Yemen. And it's labeled as the Houthi, US and UK conducting airstrikes on Houthi in Yemen. But then again, there's other articles surfacing talking about Iranian-backed Houthi. So the narratives that coming out of the mainstream media, you got to question everything at this current moment because every single headline comes from the same source as the cause of the problems. So you got to take it all with a grain of salt and don't trust no media outlet at this current moment because you don't know what's real and what's not. And that's the whole goal, to keep us divided and distracted while all along inflation is continuing to tick back up on even according to their own measurements. And we know those are fake. And we got the Bitcoin ETF out here now. And it's just amazing how just the narrative has shifted around that from being disruptive to now they're like just begging institutions to come in. And as always, whenever institutions get involved, they manipulate things and they, it all ultimately end up biting your average mom and pop in the behind. but people don't seem to think that, just because of the concept of greed. Everybody want their bags to pump, and I think in the long run it's going to be problems. But anyway, who am I, man? Just very interesting times, interesting times, to say the least. But okay, let's get right into it. Let me get my screens up here and run a bit behind. I had to go get me a little bit of tea for this evening. I love my tea in the evening. And also working on a little introduction songs or whatnot, trying to have some fun on the back end. Okay, so let's get right into it. Barlight Broker says, divide, distract, and conquer. 100%. 100%. New boogeyman to support the war. Yeah. Uncle Sam definitely is in need of more currency creation to keep himself alive. And of course, that comes to military activity and everything in between. So, all right, let's get into it. Let me get to my headlines. Let me just move some stuff around on the back end here. Let me get some stuff back in, going back here. All right. So as always, preparedness. Want to make sure I big up my people for Patriots, man. You can never have enough preps in reference to whatever you consider being prepared. And of course, I got an article what's potentially happening in Sweden, and how there's a mad dash of people to get prepared for whatever's coming. And I think it has something to do with the war, but we'll see. But anyway, forpatriots.com/RTD. As you guys can see on the screen here, they sell a variety of items of all kinds, everything from food, everything to water. You name it, they have it. And so I encourage you guys, if you haven't, the link is in the description. Go check them out, show them some love. And while you're at it, if you haven't, I'm sure by now, hopefully everybody by now has decided to get themselves some energy. And when I mean energy, they got this 4Patriot solar power generator here. If I can click this link here, which I can't, but keep it moving. So anyway, forpatriots.com/RTD. Go show them some love and let them know your boy RTD sent you over there. All right, so let's get in the headlines, man. So this is what caught my attention. And of course, usually what I usually do throughout the day, I find a couple interesting stories that come across my radar, or people will send me emails with just some trending news, and I'll bring it to the fold in the evenings. But this one here, sort of kind of breaking within the last couple of hours, so I thought I would lead off with this one and then get into some other things that happened throughout the day. But once again, U.S. and U.K. launched strikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen. And, Yemen is just not long ago just having got out of a military conflict from being completely ravaged. The country is just completely bombed for 5 or 6 years, give or take, from Saudi Arabia directly. And Saudi Arabia decides to call a truce, and then Yemen gets right back into the fold of trying to be the shield country where the Houthi organizations, or whoever they are, of course, they probably have, they're definitely backed from the Western Hemisphere, in my opinion, but they're in the war again. And it's just unfortunate that, like this whole Israel-Gaza situation intentionally been done to escalate things such as this, to where they're going to make sure, and the goal is to make sure that there'll never be a thing such as peace in the Middle East in this short term. And so it's all about conflict. And moving forward, we're going to see that plus some. But here's just a little live update. Even if I refresh this, it gives you some live up-to-date information of what's happening. And I'll just thumb through it real quick and then go to some Twitter feeds. Let me just move myself out the way so I can see what's going on here. Let me get this out of here. Bear with me 1 second. Got too much stuff on the screen. Let me shrink myself down a little bit. All right, so here we just got some latest updates as to what's happening. It says massive strike with ship launch missiles and jets, according to the AP. Then we got Houthis have retaliated yet. U.S. official have not retaliated yet. And then we got Saudi Arabia urges U.S. restraint. And so this is as of the last, couple of minutes or so, updates of what's happening there. But then you go here, you got some live footage. And this clip here from Raw Alerts, it says here, let me move myself out the way. It says here, video shows U.S. UK conducting airstrikes that is taking place in Yemen with support of Canada, Australia, Bahrain, and the Netherlands. So not sure as to if all those other countries are also involved or allowing the U.S. to use some of their assets. Not sure, but yeah, we're not too surprised about this. And then here's another one here that could really escalate things even more. So this is a news source from the Yemenese Houthi military leader, ultimately, was warning, says the Houthis warn Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. and a quote coming from their leader, just pictures circulating out there, but it says, if you open up your airspace to the US and UK, then you are officially at war with us. And so we'll see where this goes, but there's a warning to other Middle Eastern countries about supporting the US and UK invasion right now. So will they bow down? Will they not? Who knows? Give it taking time. We'll see. But only time will tell. And then here's another little headline here I thought was interesting. And so it says, let me zoom in just a little bit here. So this is from the AP, and it was just posted by this lady here. And it says here, get ready for Western press to greatly increase its use of the phrase Iranian-backed Houthis while still never using the phrase US-backed Israelis. So I just thought that Iranian-backed Houthis, because the word Iranian associated with Houthis go hand in hand, because the U.S. is always planned to go into that country, and they need as many excuses as they can get. And so what better way to use this Yemen Houthi narrative to also throw in Iran, and then there you go. You have the entire Middle East going to be involved in this event, which is shouldn't be too surprising to anybody. So that's what's happening as of right now. We'll find out. Keep our eyes on it, because I'm sure they're going to make sure we always, are attentive to it. So, but here's something else that is catching airways as well. This says here, let me zoom in so I can make it bigger. And so it looks like Sweden, their military general, is warning the citizens to get ready for war. And so what I find interesting is it says that 210 years of peace, the country bids to join NATO in face of Russian tension. So Sweden is warned to brace for war. Civil defense minister tells citizens to get moving and prepare for the end of the 210-year peace. And so, once again, continuing expansion of NATO, of course, against Russia, because Russia is the enemy of humanity, according to the Western globalists. But there's also articles circulating. Let me see. I wasn't able to find it when I needed it, but it was basically highlighting how there's been somewhat of a panic amongst Swedish citizens to prepare in the form of emergency preparedness, food, water, people stacking up, doubling up over there. And so it was a tweet that kind of went viral of what I was referring to. But whenever there's a panic, people really literally get moving when things hit the fan. And so it looks like Sweden could be moving towards a direction of war if they join NATO, because they're right on the border of Russia. So we'll find out what goes on there. But between the Middle East conflict, the expansion of NATO, and whatever else is in the pipe, it's never a dull moment. So, keep it going. What else I got here? Some other stories worth touching on. Of course, the inflation figures came out. Not a surprise. I mean, apart from just hearing more fictitious lies, says inflation rises more than expected to 3.4% in December, rattling traders betting on Fed rate cuts. So we all saw the figures. It's no surprise whatsoever. And of course, the numbers are still extremely low, but once again, they measure it in their own favor. So who's surprised at this point? But keeping it moving. What else we got here? More interesting stories about how the mainstream economy is not doing too well. It says 56 million Americans have been in credit card debt for at least a year. We are seeing pockets of trouble, experts says. So consumer credit is still weighing heavily on people across the country. And what else we got here? Here's an interesting story here that caught my attention about the continual partnership and expansion of the Eastern Bloc, Global South, whatever you want to call them. So it says China and Russia test a hack-proof quantum communication link for BRICS countries. Hack-proof quantum communication. Like these words here, hack-proof quantum communication, those seem like they go hand in hand. But if this is true, whatever technology they're developing over there for communicating amongst this new Global South program seems to be pretty serious if they're thinking it's hack-proof. So, but it says scientists in Russia and China has established a quantum communication encrypted with the help of secure keys transmitted by China's quantum satellite, showing that a BRICS quantum communication network may be technically feasible. It says the scientists were able to span 3,800 kilometers between a ground station close to Moscow and another near Yunquai in China's western Jing region to send two encoded images secured by quantum keys. And so as I was reading through this earlier, I'm thinking like, wow, like they have the technology to make it hack proof according to their standards. and they had the quantum side of things kind of ironed out, basically just an extreme amount of computer power. I wonder, like, what else technology they have that could probably disrupt the old decentralized crypto space as well. So, yeah, time will tell, but we'll find out. Okay, these are some headlines that caught my attention, not in any particular order. Here's another little interesting bit here. It says Fed balance sheet expands by most since the SVB crisis as banks arbitrage bailout fund. And so here we just got more interesting graphs here. Money markets is trending up. Funds is flowing out of the banks into the money markets. Both institutional and retail funds saw inflows. Then we got what's it interesting? It says both money markets and bank deposits are seeing inflows. So the Fed's balance sheet expanded last week by 5.7 billion. So see a little bit of an uptick here, even though the quantitative tightening seems to be coming to an end, perhaps. And so we see a little uptick there of the Fed's balance sheet. It's small in nature, but then it signals a lot because QT is choking the world. Actually, you guys can't even see it, but this little bit of blip here trending upward. It could show that the Fed might be pivoting sooner than we could ever imagine. But just more information there. Then here's another interesting little headline here. Hertz deciding to backtrack with those Tom Brady commercials on the whole EV push. Car rental firm Hertz to sell 20,000 EVs for gas-powered vehicles. And there's even articles circulating on Twitter showing how if you want to go pick up a Tesla, they're basically like 30% off. So you can grab one for like 16,000 because they're taking major losses. So they're expecting over 200 million. It says Hertz expects about 245 million of incremental depreciation expenses from the proposed sale in the fourth quarter. So they got Teslas on fire sale. If anybody wants one, not quite sure who would want to have to charge a car every night, but people do. All right, on to another news here. Here's an interesting story here. Now we got the Bitcoin ETF. I thought this was interesting because the question is, will this Bitcoin ETF in time slow down the move from the West retail investor into gold and silver? Because everybody's going to be tracing the Bitcoin, pump train. And so we will see. But Cathie Woods, whose ARK ETF launches today, she revealed that she has 25% of her net worth is invested in Bitcoin. So not sure what that total is, but a quarter of it is in Bitcoin. My assumption would be it's quite substantial. But then again, we will find out. And of course, here's a list of all the Bitcoin ETFs that have gone public as of now. And there's some fuss in the Bitcoin community, it seems, because Vanguard is not allowing retail customers to actually buy because they're waiting for their uber wealthy customers to get first position. So a lot of interesting things happening out here, man. But never a dull moment, as I mentioned. So between the Bitcoin ETF popping off, gold and silver did not move today. And actually, silver was in. Let me go pull this up here. Silver was in the red. Let me go back here. So it's all this hype around the Bitcoin ETF that gold and silver pretty much remain around its normal levels of $2,000 and $22 or so for silver. So great opportunity to continue to get your weight up for those who believe in saving and sound money. So, but those are just some things that caught my attention, man. Never a dull moment, as always mentioned. Let's get the phone lines open. I'm curious to hear what you guys have been keeping your eyes on. There's a variety of subjects between tunnels underground, under the synagogues, you name it. Yeah, lots of things going on, man. Lots of things happening in the world these days. But anyway, curious to hear what you guys think. Feel free to give me a call or throw some thoughts, ideas, suggestions in the chat. And as always, if we have any first-time viewers, let me know where you're watching from. We'll love to welcome you to the fold and find out what's on your radar. Because the goal is to have a community talk show where we can all connect and just, share our thoughts on what's happening in the world, man. And go from there. So let me check in via the chat. Let me see the live chat. Let me see what else is happening out here. How is everybody doing? We got greetings from Roku Moro. How you doing, my friend? Like broker. Oh man. So we'll see where it goes. What else is happening? So the question I want to put out there to you guys: how many people plan on participating in the Bitcoin ETF? Oh man, as I started off talking about earlier, like how having watched this space for so long now, and to see how it has evolved, and it's not been favorable. Like I've lost any excitement I initially had when I first came across the decentralized crypto community space, literally a decade ago now. All that has just slowly but surely been fading away because I realized that the fact that people have become so greedy that they're wanting and begging for government, um, what you call it, government oversight as well as institutional funds, to where I'm like, that goes against the entire purpose of supposedly of the space. It was supposed to be something that disrupted and disturbed traditional finance and turned the monetary system upside down because people would opt in and using something that was supposed to be peer to peer. And now it's like, go 2.0. Like that was never the intention of it. So people, man, it's very sad to see how things have twisted due to greed. Due to greed. Barlight Broke says, give me gold 100%, man. 100%. But then again, so and here's a possible dilemma, depending on, your long-term viewpoint as an investor. And so gold and silver in and of itself is money. And I look at it more so as an insurance policy that I took out against fiat currency. So there's a position of where I'm like literally securing my net worth in a sound monetary store of value, and that's gold and silver. But on top of that, as an opportunist, one who looks for opportunities in a variety of sectors, I am open to exploring into products and services that could allow me to add more to my current holdings of metals. So, as I mentioned before, like I was very intrigued with this sector when I first stumbled across it, just because I saw the opportunity of certain. I put it all in the category of cryptos. Cryptos in of itself, on the surface is a gamble, but then again, there's certain projects that have potential to be disruptive still. And those projects there are the ones that I've kept my eye on and made an attempt to learn more about them so that I could feel comfortable allocating funds and accumulating a certain position. So having been in the space for quite some time now, I have no regrets because it's done me quite well. But then again, like my initial thoughts about the space was that the goal would be to disrupt. But at this current moment, it's no disrupting. It's literally like, people are begging for the government and institutions. And I don't understand that at all. But again, each to each his own. But yeah, man, like, once again, opportunity, there's still opportunity there for those who like to speculate. So, me personally, I consider myself a strategic speculator where there's things that I do believe will be around for quite some time, and in fiat terms will do quite well because they have a use case. And those ones that have use case, so far so good. Neil says buy silver and platinum. 100%. Neil, I take it that you are a big time platinum enthusiast because that's one of your mantras there. Buy silver and platinum. I still need some cash though for tips because I wear all them damn gold jewelry. Oh man. Let me see here. The Digital Wealth Podcast. How you doing, my friend? Says absolutely. It says begging Wall Street for fiat. Right. And that's the thing. Like, and what blows my mind is if Bitcoin is meant to succeed and it's not a state project, then just be patient. Funds will make its way to things that are of use to other people. And so if the scarcity side of things of having 21 million Bitcoins, or however you want to break it down, if that is legit, then fiat's going to find its way into it somehow, some way, to where you don't need to beg institutions to get involved, because if it's an escape hatch out of a dying system, people are going to find their way into it. So it is what it is, what it is. I understand the idea of people. And that's another thing, like watching a lot of, or I tend to follow a lot of sectors, but tend to watch a lot of crypto content creators, and just seeing how, there's so much enthusiasm in this space right now for all these institutions. And they're like literally cheering on the institutions and like wanting them to succeed, because to succeeding to them is them being able to get pension funds involved, all the family asset managers involved. And it's like, once all that funds come into the system will ultimately turn on the retail investor. The governments will then operate on in the best interest of the institutions and not the retail investor, i.e., the person who does does their own custody and things like that. Those people will be considered a threat to Wall Street. So at some point, the government's going to get involved and declare it illegal, or they're going to impose a much greater taxation process on people who decide to hold their own cryptos, just because that kind of like this disrupts the idea of Wall Street getting into the sector and being the primary custodians. So it's like, man, people don't see that this is leading to a trap that it's not going to be good at the end. So between today with the or yesterday or today rather, with the announcement of the ETF, all the way to the time where the government changes the rules on how you can invest in that asset class, is going to be a window. And it's just being able to time that window to where people can take advantage of whatever profits they can, because on the other side of that, it's going to be very, very, very tough to operate outside of the regulatory framework. Let me see. Neil says BTC will not go as high this halving. So much money was sunk into the last halving, so no one has that kind of cash to bust it as high. I would imagine, man, like Bitcoin, because it's now a Wall Street, because Wall Street now has a product, the ETF that they can sell. Marketing is going to go through the roof, to where the cash that you're referring to may not be in the regular retailers' hands at this point, i.e., your mom and pops, because a lot of people are stretched thin. But then you got all those trillions of dollars just parked right now inside of the institutions that, with a simple phone call, every mom and pop who has an IRA or something like that, they can make a call to their broker and say, hey, I want you to put 2%, 5% of my portfolio into that ETF. And there you'll see a large amount of cash flow into that sector. But then again, I'm wondering, like, okay, the ETF is a fraction of supposedly a real Bitcoin. And so at some point, that decoupling, like, it's all paperwork in of itself. And so we'll see how they change the rules down the line to where they can profit at the expense of the retail investor losing out. So who knows? But all right, let's get a call in here. Let me see what I got here. Oops. Let me get you here. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, King 9.
Steve, what's going on, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, not too much. But you were talking about the Bitcoin and all. There's a documentary that just came out on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Bitcon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that.
Everybody, I'm not gonna ruin it for everybody. Just check it out. It's pretty good. Just came out. And the other thing is, SD Bullion has some very good prices on the silver right now. If anybody wants to grab some, I haven't seen prices that low in years, actually.
Okay, SD Bullion. So I got the Bitcoin Netflix documentary on the screen now, so people can see that. So I started but didn't finish it. So thanks for the recommendation. I'll definitely check it out.
If somebody wants to jump on that silver, man, I just ordered some the other day. It just came in a couple of days ago.
All right.
Those prices are good on those silver eagles and stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna pull that up now. Go ahead. But no, what else in your mind?
No, that's about it. I'll enjoy the rest of the show.
For sure. Appreciate the call, my friend. Thanks for calling in.
Take care.
Yep. All right, so on the screen here, I got SD Bullion. And so we got Silver Eagles. Let me click on this link here. We got, what type of deals we got here? $28. $28 here. So that's $5 over spot. So there you go. Good opportunity there. What else we got here? What other deals they got? Let me go back to their main page here. What else we got here? Royal Mint Gold Sovereigns, $99. Oh, currently out of stock. All right. So, all right, take advantage of that. Appreciate you, Steve, as always, for keeping us on game. Thank you. But Neil says Jay Anderson is one cool dude. That's the CEO. Yeah. Let me see here. I mean, SD Bullion, cool people, man. Cool people. I remember they used to support the channel a while back. And so definitely some good people over there. James Anderson. No, James Anderson is not the CEO, I don't think. I don't think it's Dr. somebody. James Anderson is, I think, one of the content creators. I think I had James on the show a couple years ago for sure. Did a couple interviews with him. It says paper silver holds down the price of silver, so paper BTC will hold down the price of BTC. Yeah, I mean it's a paper game, man, and that's where like the fact. So I was looking at just scroll through Twitter, getting a chance to see what some of the hype and buzz was, and I it's one share of the ETF is like 0.00008% of a Bitcoin, and so you need, I think it was 1,000 shares or something like that, 1,500 shares to equal a full Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, and so with people being able to buy a fraction of a share. And once again, I assume all these institutions will be buying Bitcoin to actually back those shares. But then again, at some point, like GOD, SLV, they were all similar products, backed by physical until the paper game get involved to where they start rehypothecating and creating more paper than there are actual units. And then there you go. We got the manipulation of price. So I'm sure that's going to be somewhere in the near future. So we will see how it goes. Fishbowl says, Mike, if the government offered you the choice to receive 50% of all your bills, but the catch is you have to sign up for a CBDC, would you do it? I'm sure many people who are. So that's a great question there. And so once again, my initial thought is like thinking long term, and me, according to how I view things, seeing where things are going. One individual that decides to opt out of the CBDC won't prevent it or slow it down or stop it, because the masses, 99.99% of people, will definitely sign up with no problem. And so if you're given a chance to get how many ever dollars per month, to me, kind of similar like the what was it? The stimulus checks. Like, I'll take it. Sure, if you're going to give it to me, I'll take it, and I'll put the good use according to what I can use it for, which is to get, in those cases, to get more weight. So if people came at me on some and I have to, sell myself or give up anything, and if they want to give me something, yeah, sure, I'm not going to say, no, I'm not going to take that. No, right. Because I can take that and put it to good use. So if they offer to pay off my bills at half of it and give me the other half in CBDC, sure. Because, it's from the government. So that's not like, my income. So I would probably take it and put it to good use. So yeah, long story short, that's just me. JBW says I actually sold all my metals to JM, unfortunately. JM Bullion, really? Recently or a while ago, JB? What's up, TB? How you doing, my friend? Happy New Year. Daryl, what's up, my friends? Just catching up, seeing what's good with everybody, talking about the airstrikes in Yemen. What else? We got the Bitcoin ETF excitement and everything else in between. Johnny B says, grab the paper, take the run and run. Yeah, because once again, if they just giving it away, it's going to the repercussions of that still going to impact everybody. Monetary base expansion somehow, some way, it's going to equal greater prices at the pump and everything else. So we're still going to experience consumer price increases. So yeah, I'm not going to be on the short end of that deal. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from? Hello.
What's that? How you doing?
Hey, doing good, my friend. What's on your mind?
Question for you, but I got kicked the other night. I was watching Kicko News with that lady, and this guy was talking Bitcoin, and he said physical Bitcoin.
Physical, yeah. I hear that a lot. Physical, right. Go ahead.
I said, I want one. Where can I get it?
Yeah. I mean, the sad part is how they've taken the image of the Bitcoin logo and put it on a gold coin. And the people call that physical. Getting that is considered physical, even though it's a gold coin with the Bitcoin stamped on it. It's not real gold, and like all the other coins, like Litecoin is a silver coin, and Dogecoin is a copper. It's like, okay, come on now. But once again, people don't pay no attention.
I got gold and silver, but I'm a fixed income. I'm retired,
Mm-hmm.
and the inflation is really starting to get me, man, and it adds up, and mostly food, grocery stores, eating out, and food is really coming on strong.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Well, what's the best? Give me a couple different scenarios of what you think it'll take for gold and silver to reach its full value.
Whoo, man. A couple scenarios. Like I was literally thinking about this prior to going live. I was thinking about with all this Bitcoin ETF hype and everything in between, definitely that's going to slow down the, gold and silver's price activity. And so, because a lot of people, institutions, pension funds, all those people are getting prepared to get ushered into a digital ETF with all these damn hedge funds. So the chance of them actually going into physical gold and silver in their pension funds or whatever is going to be very slim. And so literally, unless something breaks, what I mean by break is there's a banking event and there's a mad scramble for people to get a hold of their actual capital out of the banks and get it into something. That gold and silver could be an outlet, or there's something done out in the global south area where Russia, China somehow, some way announced something, and gold is a part of it. And then, like literally, gold is uncontrollable price wise from the east to where it impacts the price over here in the west with the COMEX and all the other LBMAs, whatever. And so, apart from some type of real dire emergency event, I think they can get away with manipulating gold and silver until. And so it can go on a lot longer than what we ever imagined based upon how things are flowing now. And it's new excitement for this Bitcoin ETF and the ETFs that are going to come following that. So that can definitely steal some of the thunder from gold and silver, I think, or prolong the manipulation rather. So that's kind of how I see it.
I used to hear about the COMEX, the COMEX, if they finally, have to dish out all the, silver they supposedly have, that would break it open. But I don't really understand how that works. I mean, was that just people making calls on their paper silver?
I don't know fully. I know just based upon stuff I hear from other commentators or whatever, when they talk about people literally like institutions and big players out there, a lot of unknown funds taking delivery. And so the taking delivery draining the COMEX, but then again, somehow, some way they always manage to restock the inventory or try to paper over it. So just today I saw something out there. I think it was from Big Square. I think it was, but they were talking about like the mad dash to try to cover up, like the some of the figures that are publicly available, to the public, like, try to maneuver some of the numbers, make the numbers look greater than what they are, i.e. the fact that, there's not as much, metal there as they need. So they starting to mess with the numbers. So once again, I don't dive too deep into that, but I wouldn't doubt that right now they fudging the books on a lot of things to make it look as if there's more in those vaults than there really is. But once again, I mean, those are the same people controlling the system, so they can probably do it as long as they want. So, yeah.
If they do and get this digital dollar going,
Mm-hmm.
That something comes up, where they say, okay, we got to go digital, we're going to go digital.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think a lot of people then would opt out from, what cash they could get, that gold and silver would be more appealing at that point?
No, because I apart from we're already digital, we're already overwhelmingly digital. So, barring some type of event where cash was no longer available, then sure, people could use those digits to get into what other items. But as of right now, like the average person don't know anything about how the banking system works. So where I don't think there'll be any real sense of, need to move for safety into metal. So literally people would it would go from digits to cash in hand, and cash in hand to probably items of any kind that you need, and then gold and silver on the back end. Because now that, literally cryptos has worked its way in there. So it's the digits, the paper, the cryptos, real world items. People probably go try to buy some real estate or buy some other things in between. Gold and silver at dead last. So that's like 4 or 5, asset classes down the line where people would only go there if it was like, obvious that was the best place to go, where most people don't think that right now. So that right there can prolong the manipulation as well. So
do you think the main intent then for digital dollar is not so much to steal money or just to control us and to control where it's at, or is it to actually value our net worth in digital from what we got now into digital? I mean, they're doing that with inflation, but
yeah. So I think just like the digital dollar that you're referring to more so comes from the commercial banks, creation of currency when you take out a loan, i.e. debt. So the credit expansion through the banking sector has been what has been the primary driver for the most part of the consumer price increases and things of that nature. And so the primary reason for the digital transition was due to help the banks out. The banks have been able to, basically for every single dollar, expand the monetary base by 10 to, for loans and things of that nature. So the purpose of going digital helped the banks out because it's all computer ledger. And who controlled the computer ledgers prior to whatever is coming has been the commercial banks because it's been their private ledgers that have allowed them to create debt out of nowhere. And I think a lot of this shift happens to be moving the ledgers out of the commercial banks' hands into the coffers of the Federal Reserve System with that whole CBDC, central bank digital currency narrative that they're pumping out there. So from the commercial banks' control to the final entity of a central bank is, I think, where it's heading somehow, some way. And all the ledgers will connect up, but it'll be controlled and operated probably through a central control, which would be the Fed if it works out, or the euro, or like right now the EU yuan is working very well in China because they're continuing to spread it throughout the country, and they can control every single aspect of it because it's on their ledger. So it's like literally an open protocol for them, but private to everybody else, or private. It's private usage for the consumer, but it's open and public for them to see everything we do or they do.
Well, with all the central banks and governments supposedly buying all this gold, and I assume silver also, they got something up their sleeve where at some point I think that it's going to come out, or why would they be accumulating?
Right. Right. That's true. So we have to find out. But whatever it is, it's going to be protect them. It's going to be to protect them and not necessarily to help out the citizens. Because once again, they would rather have the citizens in digital nothings than have them holding physical gold, because that right there put constraints on them as far as how they can run operations in their own country. So yeah, they're not going to handcuff themselves by allowing gold and silver back to the hands of the public willingly, I think so. But we'll see.
I'm glad my father is the richest entity ever to exist.
100%.
Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Hey, man.
That on my team.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling. Big up. Good questions, man. Good questions. What else? I missed some couple calls. Forgive me. Give me a call. Let's talk. Curious to hear what's on your mind. Let me get my app back open here. Okay, we got someone. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Mike, calling from Oakland. How you doing, brother?
TB, doing good, my friend. What's on your mind?
Happy New Year. Live long and prosper.
Oh, 100%, man. Appreciate you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Let's dig into this ETF thing.
Okay, go ahead.
What ETF started out as what they say as far as a hidden money source. You could funnel money without being recognized, and it was the banksters doing it. Is that your understanding as well?
The electronic traded funds that's offered through the institutions?
No, I'm talking in the beginning of BTC.
Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, so Bitcoin itself. So I mean, according to the way Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the white paper, basically saying that the creation of Bitcoin was to be a peer-to-peer transfer mechanism of value, and of course, since then, it's become a bankster's dream of a gold 2.0 type of label. So, and the government say, sure, you can use it for money laundering, terrorist activity, child, whatever. Yeah. So they gave it all types of labels, but once again, it's just a value transfer mechanism from A to B. Yeah.
Were the ones typically using that. The Fed had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Correct?
If you say so, go ahead.
That it was the banksters that was the ones that were in wrong or in error of using BTC. They wanted to get a control of it and get a hold of it, so they stopped using it for nefarious purposes.
I could ride with that. Yeah, I mean, I think it was all incognito though. Like the banks, whatever. Like I don't think So that's another thing. So like the banks use it. So that's one thing I don't know. Like, because I mean, you can't see where things originate from. I would assume that there's been some institutional players like Epstein and all those bad actors. Yeah, literally bad actors using it for their benefit as well. So everybody, got a chance to use it.
Well, we're and typically prove
right. right.
So it became right.
Okay, I can run with that. For sure.
Once you getting involved and figuring out, hey, yeah, this is a good way to launder money. This is a good way, Nancy Pelosi's. Yeah, they've given her Bitcoin to try out. Use this. Free Bitcoin for everybody. Everybody use this.
Yeah.
And they were giving it away. And now the banksters to have all that power.
You think so? I mean, I think Elizabeth Warren and those types are literally like puppet mouthpieces for the Wall Street. So I think Jamie Dimon has more pull than anybody, and he tells people in the government what he wants. So I mean, I would imagine that like our government is incompetent; they're not really able to make decisions for their damn self. So I would say Wall Street has more, of a say so as to what's going on in DC.
Of the FTP
ETF, yeah.
The overgroup of the EFP, which is an overgroup of the EFS or the Exchange Traded Fund.
Okay.
With the approval of that, who does that leave out? Who is that? Or is everybody in on the game? Or with the approval, who's getting the pie now?
So I think a lot of the potential pie that they're trying to fight for now happens to be with the fees that will be charged by these institutions for all the retail investors that are potentially coming in. And so with all that, with like for I think Fidelity or BlackRock, whatever, 6 trillion or how much ever under management, they're anticipating their clients calling at some point and said, hey, can you allocate 1, 2, 3, 4% of my portfolio into this new product of yours? And that little 0.2% or whatever they charge will be the profit that goes to that entity. That's how I think this is set up, similar to everything else.
What was the majority holdings in wallets? It was less than $1,000.
I don't know that. I don't know. Yeah.
People's wallets was less than $1,000. So are they doing this, or is it the BlackRocks and all the other entities that are involved in this? The Cathie Woods. It sounds like these guys are the ones that are nefarious, and they're wanting to get them under control, not necessarily the bank, because the banks don't have.
Right.
Have a conduit in order to get through the BTC thing, and I think FINRA is the Gensler, and they're trying to get a hold of these guys and make sure that they do the right thing with this, because anytime the government gets involved, it's going to be messed up.
Right.
So just it's going to get messed up. Invest money in this sort of stuff because not many people know about it.
Right.
And for two, the fees that they're going to charge is going to outweigh the profits you're going to get. BTC was set up for people who didn't have much and wanted to invest in this, that, these, and those, and make a whole lot of money doing that. Now nobody has any money. How are they going to invest in this, that, these, and those?
Right.
Everything else. Let's see how this BTC checks out. But the media's already moved on. I expected a big old fanfare and everything else, and I didn't see anything. It was like BTC approved. No, it isn't. And then you didn't hear anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, hey, we 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 will. We will, man. Appreciate the call, man. Yeah, be good. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, give it time, man. I think the maximalists, Bitcoin maximalist community, they're excited and they're hoping that trillions flow into Bitcoin. And so what they're thinking is that all this hype around the ETF will eventually, you know, create some marketing, which it will, because I've seen several commercials now for the Bitcoin ETF from a variety of companies. And so what they're hoping is that that information educates the masses, and then people realize that they don't want a financial product; they actually want the actual Bitcoin in their own possession itself, and therefore the price of it will spike. So that's kind of what I think a lot of people are hoping for. All right, hello, Carlos. Where we call it from?
Hey, Mike. It's Mike from Pacoima, California.
Mike from Cali. What's going on, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
You own nothing and be happy.
Yeah, you own nothing. That is nothing. The epitome of looking at a screen, looking at ones and zeros on a screen, will eventually equate to nothing. Yeah, I can believe that one.
What's the ultimate goal, Mike?
Yeah, so to make sure that no one owns actual property, physical property first, and then digital property last.
You from the tangible value in the real world.
Yeah.
What's an ETF? Look at Mike. Mike, this is how ridiculous this is. They made something. They made an artificial derivative of something that's artificial. It's nothing there. It's not even tangible. Like, sure, you could take your code and put it on a wallet and whatever have you. It's computer code and the system, but they made it intangible, even more intangible.
Right. Hey.
Just keep on whatever you got. Hold on to what you got. Hold on to your metal, including that lead,
Yeah. All right.
Stop using digital dollars as it is, because they already separated it from you.
Yeah.
Use cash. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Right. 100%, man. Good point there, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to you, buddy. Be good. Yeah. That was a good one. That's a good one. What else we got here? BTC is the new CBDC. People ought to get into Monero. Yeah. I do believe that there will come a time where privacy coins or projects that focus primarily on privacy from beginning to end will do quite well. And they'll actually, because there won't be any ways of actually exchanging them back into fiat real soon. So more people will be forced to actually spend them. And those could potentially become a transactional currency that people use. Hello, Carlos. Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? It's your boy out here in Crypto King.
Crypto King. What's up, my friend? How you doing?
Great. How you doing?
Not bad, man. What's happening in Japan, man?
So the New Year seems to be okay, and I pray for anybody.
Uh-oh. You kind of choppy.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but it's computerized. But we'll do the best we can. Go ahead, give me what's in your mind, though. It's all good. We work through it.
Richard Hart, the SEC, he recently hired four fault. Previously used by even Elon Musk to go up against the SEC. Freedom of speech, freedom of attention. Involved lawyers of the former SEC lawyers.
Yeah, so I hear you, but I know it's hard to hear on the mic. You talking about Richard Hart, and I saw he has a team of lawyers that's actually trying to stick it to the SEC. So I see that. So that's kind of what I'm translating what you said, because I know people can't really hear you. But no, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on that, though, because he seems to be very confident that he's going to really stick it to him. So I think that'll be a good thing if he does. So I wish him luck on that
one. If y'all want to help, kind of help with the fight, there's a petition.org. So it's petition.org.
Petition.org.
You would take a read of that.
Okay.
Let's move on. Now, anybody wants to
Yeah, I hear you. So I heard you once again, but I know you was choppy, so I know they didn't hear you. But but Hex, but go check out Hex. Is basically what you're saying. So appreciate you, man. Lost him. Yeah, appreciate you calling, man. I know you called from Japan, so it's kind of choppy. So I'm assuming you're using an internet phone or something. So, but I think it was petition.org, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what you said. But put it in the chat though. Put everything you said in the chat. Put it in the chat, Crypto King, and we can let people see and take a look if they're interested. What else we got here? Chainlink, BRAD. Daryl says BTC is not a banker's coin. Yeah, so here's the thing, Daryl. If it's the banker's coin, don't you think the banker's gonna do themselves right? The bankers like Jamie Dimon and all those entities that have now created a financial product, because they're going to try to get trillions eventually into those financial products. And then on the back end of that, if they remain true to like actually keeping it, spot to those shares, will then the recipients of the actual Bitcoin holders profit as well. So will the banks run it up for their own benefit or crash it to destroy the retail investors will be the question. He says Crypto King calling from jail. That's funny. Hello, caller. Where you calling from? Hello?
Diego?
I hear you. Kind of choppy. Go ahead. What's your name?
William. I used to call you from San Diego.
William, how you doing, my friend? I got you. Go on. What's going on?
Well, I'm doing well. I wanted to chip in on the ETF.
Okay.
The Bitcoin ETF.
Go ahead.
Because the latest things I heard, including your friend Mario Maneco, 64, is that the owners or the administrators, like the trustees of these ETFs, have written into the contract pretty much that it's when you buy the Bitcoin on the ETF, you're actually paying cash, and what you get back
it's cash.
When you sell it is cash.
Right.
There is no Bitcoin.
Right. So I think the proxy is that, and I guess in the middle of that, like you send them cash, they supposedly take possession of Bitcoin into the fund, and then if you exit out, you benefit on the price fluctuation, assuming it be positive, and you'll earn more cash on the way out. So you never actually do anything with Bitcoin.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So the consumer doesn't actually own the Bitcoin itself. Like Bitcoin can be mined, and you can own the Satoshi or the numerals that allow you into your Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like holding physical gold or silver. I only hold coins and gold and silver. I used to tell you that I knew silver was going up, and it's come back down a bit, but I'm still auctioning on eBay. I auction silver on eBay and gold as well, fractional coins.
Yeah.
And since 2017. So I just wanted to chip in. It's like I had a friend in 2016 and 17 who was the son of the gentleman who owned a Ford dealership, and he asked me to help out because he was losing it to the partner.
Yeah.
And his son was a nerd and had traded Bitcoin that he had mined for like drugs or something. And but later on, I bought him 2 desktop computers that could mine.
Yeah.
And he started mining Ethereum.
Yeah.
But in the end, I couldn't trust him. He didn't want to really create a company because IBM, for example, at the time in 2017 was looking for, nerds to be able to mine Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah. It was easier then too.
Because it takes a lot more mining power now. And I think some of those mining companies have not necessarily done that well, like Genesis. Have you heard about them? I think they're in Iceland or something.
Yeah, I know Hive is in Iceland. Hive is one of the companies in Iceland, yeah. But no, I've heard of Genesis, Block, Riot, yeah.
I'm not into them. I quit after that. I wasn't interested because instead of buying cash, I'd rather mine it. But if I can't trust the people to mine it, then I'm really out unless you're a software expert. But the other thing that I heard about the ETF is also controlled by mostly by JP Morgan Chase is one of the trustees, and the other one on a lot of them, because there's multiple and they're all owned by the same crew of about 5 different major players. And the other one that's only been mentioned by this other guy, I can't remember his name. He's on YouTube a lot. He lives in California. He used to be a broker, he said that JP Morgan Chase and this Italian sounding last name own those, and they've been the biggest players in being the trustees for the silver ETFs and so forth. So I think what they're doing in general is when the customer buys these shares of anything in an ETF, these trustees are they're acting as banks as well, and they basically utilize those assets as if they're their own, because when you short something, when you sell something rather than buy it, hoping that the share price goes down, the silver price goes down or whatever, so you can buy it back for less and make that difference. They're utilizing, you have to have an asset to be able to short it. You can't naked short legally anyway. So they're utilizing the customers. I believe this is possible. But they're utilizing the customers' assets in ETF like silver, gold, and now Bitcoin as a manner of shorting it as if they own it as well. They're the custodians, and I bet they're doing that.
No doubt.
That's how the paper game is played.
Right, Zach. So the thing is, if they're creating a financial product off of anything, they're doing it with the idea that they're going to benefit from it, like they do in every other sector. So if it's not started yet, give it some time. And as always, whenever the banks get involved, they find a way to manipulate things for their favor, and it always goes against the actual retail investor. So, but hey,
they cap it also. They can cap it now. They can cap the value from skyrocketing up probably because look how much money they have. How much they talk in terms of billions and trillions. It's a lot of money.
Hey man, appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for letting me on.
Oh, no problem. Appreciate you, man. We good.
Bye.
Yeah. So, time will tell, man. So I see, let me see, Bitcoin Genius. It says spot Bitcoin ETF will hold Bitcoin. You will be able to see on chain, same as gold ETF. You will buy cash and you cash out. So that's the biggest thing. Like, just the institutional funds that are supposed to come in means that they have to go out and actually acquire the actual BTC to put into their wallets to be able to sell shares off of. And so if that happens the way that it appears that that's how it's supposed to work, then BTC price will then continue to trend up because once again, the limited supply overall means that, the funds will have the dollar amount will have to adjust for the limited supply available to be sold. So we'll see how it goes. But once again, in the short term, it could be very volatile. But in the end, if Bitcoin is meant to succeed and if it's an original movement, then it will. But then again, if it's a banker's coin that the bankers are using to suck in all this, retirement pension fund money, as the system comes to a complete halt or a crash at some point soon, then people are going to lose everything anyway. So whether it's in BTC or in the USD terms, it's going to be trouble ahead. So that's why it's always a stick with something that's true, sound, and tested, i.e., as I say, get your insurance policy against your fiat, which is, of course, your sound money, aka your metals, and everything on top of that should be just pure play, pure speculation At least that's how I look at it. So as I mentioned, for those who came in late, like having watched this space for quite some time, it's not the original space that I got involved with, years ago. It's definitely turned in favor of the bankers. But then again, as long as USD is flowing into it, I'm on the winning side of this trade, so I don't mind. All right, my good people, we're at an hour, but it's been a good little live stream tonight. Appreciate you guys, man. So tomorrow at noon, me and Mario back at it for the Mike and Mario show. So if you guys are available, come join us at noon and hang out with us and just share your 2 cents, ask some questions, and we'll do our best to share our opinions along the way. So anyway, people, be blessed, be safe, and I will see you guys tomorrow.